The first time Maya walked into Eastwood High, the hallway fell silent. It wasn't because she was loud or flashy, quite the opposite. It was quiet, her curls pinned neatly back, her eyes scanning nervously behind thin glasses. A transfer. A student from Atlanta, she had just moved across the country after her mother got a new job. Maya wasn't used to small towns like Eastwood. She wasn't used to being the only black student in a school full of unfamiliar faces. But she had promised her mom she'd try. She just hadn't expected trying to be this hard. Asterisk, the whisper started before she even reached her locker. Who's the new girl? She looks lost. Where's she from? Africa? Someone chuckled from behind. Maya swallowed hard. Pretending not to hear, she focused on memorizing her class schedule and kept her head down. Her first period was English. She hoped the classroom would be a safe escape. Asterisk, but as she walked into room 204, she could feel eyes on her. Students exchanged glances. Some smiled awkwardly. Others didn't bother to hide their curiosity. Maya walked to the back and quietly took a seat near the window. She didn't want to be seen. She just wanted to survive the day. That hope shattered by lunch. 3 girls approached her in the cafeteria. Madison, the ringleader, wore a headband that looked more like a crown. Her friends, Chloe and Brianna, stood on either side like bodyguards. They had the kind of presence that demanded attention. And Maya, she was just trying to eat her sandwich in peace. Asterisk. So, you're the new girl, Madison said, her voice syrupy and fake. Asterisk. Maya nodded, offering a polite smile. Yeah, just moved here? Asterisk. Madison tilted her head. Atlanta, right? Must be. Different here. She said the word different like it was something dirty. Asterisk, I guess, Maya replied, trying to stay calm. Asterisk. Well, Madison said, stepping closer. Just so you know, we have our groups, our rules, and we don't need someone like you messing it up. Asterisk. Before Maya could respond, Chloe knocked her juice box over, spilling it on Maya's tray. The girls laughed and walked away, leaving Maya sitting in silence, her food ruined. Her hands trembling. Asterisk. She went home that day and cried. Not because of the juice, or even the laughter, but because it was only day 1, and it already felt unbearable. But Maya wasn't weak. The next day, she walked back into school with her head a little higher. Her mother had seen her tears the night before and had only said one thing. Baby, they don't know you yet, but they will. And Maya carried that with her. The bullying didn't stop. Madison made sure of it. In the hallways, they'd bump into Maya accidentally. During group projects, she was ignored. In gym class, they called her slow or weird. But Maya kept her composure. She studied harder, spoke kindly. She refused to shrink, no matter how much they tried to make her feel small. Asterisk. But it all came to a boiling point on a Wednesday morning. Asterisk. Maya was sitting in chemistry, focused on her notes, when Madison leaned over from the row behind and whispered, You don't belong here. Why don't you just go back to where you came from? Asterisk. Maya's hand tightened around her pen. She didn't turn around, didn't speak. Then it happened. Class hadn't started yet, and the teacher had stepped out. Briefly, Madison stood up, walked to Maya's desk, and loudly said, You know what? Let me help you out. She grabbed Maya's backpack and tried to pull her out of the seat. You don't belong here anyway. Asterisk. Gasps filled the room. Phone started. Recording. Some students laughed nervously. Others watched in stunned silence. But Maya stood up, not with anger, not with fear, with power. She took her bag back with steady hands and looked Madison dead in the eyes. Asterisk. I belong anywhere I decide to stand, she said, her voice ringing with clarity. Asterisk. Madison blinked, surprised. Excuse me? Asterisk. I said. Maya repeated. You don't get to tell me where I belong. You don't know my story. You don't know what I've overcome just to be here. The room was frozen. Maya stepped forward. Asterisk. I was raised by a single mom who worked double shifts. To get me here, I studied through power outages. I walked through rain to get to the library. I earned my place here. God, And no one, not you or anyone else, is going to take that from me. Even Chloe and Brianna looked uneasy now. Maya turned to the class. You all watched. You saw what happened? And none of you said anything. Why? Because she's popular. Because it's easier to stay quiet. One boy, near the front, slowly lowered his phone. Maya's eyes were glassy, but she didn't cry. I'm tired of pretending that staying silent keeps the peace. It doesn't. It just gives people like her more power. Well, not anymore. Asterisk. At that moment, the teacher walked back in and saw the scene. What's going on? Asterisk. Before anyone else could speak, another student, Lisa, who had always been quiet, too stood up. She tried to drag Maya out of her seat, Lisa said, and Maya stood up to her. Asterisk. Other students began to nod. Slowly, more hands raised. The teacher turned to Madison. Is that true? Asterisk. Madison tried to deflect, but the damage was done. The school launched an investigation. Maya was called into the office, but not to be punished. The principal, who had seen the video now circulating on social media, looked at her with deep respect. You showed more courage than most adults, he said. Madison and her friends were suspended. But more importantly, something changed at Eastwood High. Asterisk. Other students began opening up about the bullying they faced. A group of juniors started an inclusivity club band. Maya was asked to help lead it. She became a symbol of quiet strength. She gave a speech at the next school assembly where she ended with the words, "You don't fight hate with hate. Fight it by standing tall. You fight it by refusing to disappear." She wasn't alone anymore. People saw her now not just as the new black girl, but as Maya, a girl who spoke when it mattered. A girl who refused to be dragged down. Asterisk. Months passed. Graduation neared. Maya had straight A's, glowing recommendations, and was accepted into 3 major universities. Asterisk. And on the last day of school. As she cleaned out her locker, Madison walked up to her. Maya turned cautious. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry, Madison muttered. I didn't expect you to stand up like that. Asterisk. Maya nodded. That's the thing about people like me. We don't rise to your expectations, we rise above them. Asterisk. And with that, she walked away stronger than ever, with her head high and her story still unfolding. Moral of the story? Asterisk. Real strength isn't about fighting back with fists or insults. It's about knowing your worth when others try to tear it down. Maya didn't just stand up for herself. She changed a school. By showing that courage can be quiet and power comes from knowing who you are even when no one else does. Asterisk.